Hey y'all, it's Jules. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my travel disasters. So this is such an important topic for me because I know a lot of the times we can get sucked into the Instagram vortex of scrolling through beautiful pictures. And I'm here for it, clearly, but at the same time, what I've learned from my traveling journey is that a lot of the times it's not as picture perfect as it may seem. And it's through these moments that I have truly become a smarter traveler, but also a stronger person. So let's get right into it. Travel disaster number one. When I was flying back to the States from South Africa, where I was completing my graduate school internship, I met a guy. We spent a lot of time getting to know each other after our airport connection. And he came to visit me in North Carolina, and then it was time for me to go visit him in Europe during my spring break. Getting to Munich, our meeting point, was a disaster. My flight was canceled twice due to inclement weather, and then when I got to the airport the next morning, the airport was really crowded. And as I often do when I'm traveling solo, I talk to people around me. So standing in front of me was members of the Hillsong Church in Chapel Hill. I spent about 30 minutes talking to Pastor Rob about life, where we were going. They were heading to a mission trip in Ethiopia. But by the time we got to the front, they made an announcement that once again the flight was canceled. We both had connections in DC, and I overheard them discussing potentially driving to DC to make the connecting flight. So I just said like a little prayer and took a leap of faith and asked Pastor Rob if it was okay if I could join them. He said yes, and what made it even more special is that their flight in DC was much later than my flight, but they immediately rented a car so that I can make my earlier flight on time. The lesson learned in this is to talk to the people around you. Of course, use your intuition to weed out any sense of someone being off. But overall, there's so many benefits to connecting to the people around you. Travel disaster number two involved another European road. Friends and I had a great time cruising through Berlin, Prague, and Poland, but getting back home was insane. One of the many terrible things that happened to me going back home is me asking the flight attendant on Aeroflot Airlines if the sandwich that he gave me had nuts in it. I explained to him that I have a really severe nut allergy. He takes a look at the package and goes,
"Oh yeah, you're fine, there's no nuts in it."
and I'm like, okay. So I'm opening up my sandwich because I'm super hungry, and then the woman next to me goes,
"No, don't eat it."
And I'm like, what? She's like, no, there's
actually nuts in it, I just tasted it.
I was livid because I could have gone into anaphylaxis. This was a huge crisis averted. The good thing is I gained a friend. Tatiana is amazing for literally saving my life, and she told the flight attendant off for me in Russian. There were a lot of lessons learned. First, always have your allergies translated into the native language of the places that you're visiting. And there's multiple resources online for you to do this. Second, always notify the airline of your food allergy if you plan on eating the food. And then lastly, bring your own snacks. So whenever you're in doubt, you don't have to test it for the sake of being hungry. You'll be good regardless. Story number three is a continuation of my journey back home from Poland. So after that near-death experience, I finally arrived in JFK Airport. I'm waiting for my bag and it never showed up. So I had to scramble to file a claim, but also I was trying to catch my connecting flight to North Carolina. And so as I finally got to the appropriate person to file the claim, they informed me that I need to actually file the claim at my final destination in North Carolina. So that's a huge lesson learned because that would have saved me a lot of time. Okay, last story. While I was in Thailand, I fell off an ATV and landed in a little ditch, and it landed on my leg. I cleaned it up. It was just a little puncture wound. On the way back home, I had to stop over in London, and my ankle became completely swollen and black and blue. So I go to urgent care, and I received completely free of charge x-rays, blood thinners, and the only thing I paid for was some codeine for $8. In the States, that probably would have cost me thousands of dollars. Have a good travel insurance, especially if you're more on the adventurous side. So the overall lesson in all of these stories is that in life, things are gonna happen. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control our reaction to it. And through these experiences, I gradually learned how to embrace my emotions, allow them to happen, but do not react in my emotions. So really, if something happens, to take a step back, breathe through it, and then strategize. And just doing that helps me think clearly through any situation that may happen to me. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and that you learned a tip or two to help you become a smarter traveler. If you like this episode, please like it, subscribe, and tell a friend. See you soon.